Hey sister friends, it's Terry from Sisterhood of the Traveling Brush. If you're new here, welcome, glad to see you. And today we're going to talk about canvas. I'm sure this is not, an exhaustive list of everything that could possibly be used. And if you have another favorite or have a suggestion, please make sure and put it in the comments. If you know how to make your own stretched canvas out of just the canvas fabric and the wood, or any other idea like that, make sure and let me know. I would love to maybe have you as a guest and you can teach us about that, because that's something that I don't know about and I'm interested in, and I think it would be fun to share. We're just going to talk about the basic canvas types and things that we have available to us for canvas art, for mixed media pieces, and all that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of difference in the type of canvas you would use for watercolor, because it's really not a canvas, it's a paper. And oils can be used on the same canvas that we use for acrylics, but there's still different types, and I'll do these two real quick. There's also what are called wood panels. This is wood. This is a piece of art that I bought from Art by Sherry Clark. Love Sherry. Hey, shout out if you're watching. But this is a wood panel. This one has, the gallery sized sides so it stands up. And I like that. But you can get they're just called wood panels. And they're flat. I think they even have some at Dollar General now. And I know that everybody on Earth has a Dollar General around the corner right now. Maybe even on other planets. I'm not experienced with using wood panels a lot, so that is an option. And this tiny little painting was done for me by Whitney, my assistant, and this is just done on like a heavy cardboard. So, if you buy a painting, say of something framed at a garage sale. Sometimes I even buy the canvases like they sell at, big box stores and stuff like that. And it's not really a painting on there, it's a print on there, but it looks like a painting. That's what most of the art is that you're gonna buy at the big stores, and even the little stores, even the dollar stores have them. But it's kind of a smooth canvas and the picture is printed on there and everything. You can still paint on that. I buy those things at garage sales all the time, or if I see them marked down to $1 or $2. Sometimes you can get some pretty good size ones for, under $5. I just gesso right over what they had on there and make it mine. And it's the same thing in a lot of the old paintings. Prints and paintings, they were done on this type of little cardboard, or not little, but cardboard. And you can paint over that too. So you find a great big, framed canvas at an estate sale or something like that, and you're like, and you bring it home and you fix it up and you're like, yay me, I got something that would have cost me $100 at Hobby Lobby for $5, and it's framed. So those are always options. You can paint on just about anything. The next thing I want to discuss will be like canvas sheets. Let's see if this one's even canvas. Nope, this is watercolor paper. But in this same type of format, you can get canvas sheets, and somewhere here I have them, but I'm not going to leave you to get up and go look for it. You can get them like this as well, and this would be pieces of canvas, and I do buy those, and it's about $1 a sheet or something like that, up to $2 a sheet, because you can always get different grades. You can get, the cheaper ones in there gessoed or double gessoed or triple gessoed, and gesso is generally white, gives some tooth to whatever surface that you put it on for your paint to adhere to, gives it something to grab to, but it also seals any little holes that are in there and things like that, so that the moisture in your paint doesn't sink through, and your paint can really sit on the surface. So most of the canvases that we buy today have that already on them. So do the canvas pads that I buy like that. And I love buying these, and I love buying this size. For one, you can fold this in half and have two like frameable size little pieces to use for art. And I like to bring my canvases and stuff with me when I travel. So a lot of times bringing something like that instead of a stack like this saves a lot of packing room, and it's a little bit easier on the husband to understand. Okay, the next thing are called canvas panels. See how thin that is? This is one that I did at the lake, so I didn't want to bring a whole lot of stuff with me. This is our house. I did this probably, I didn't even write anything on it. Well, here it says '09. So I painted this in 2009. And here's one, same kind of panel, different size. This is the piece that I did at the Kara's Color Me Creative Artist Retreat recently. And other people worked on this with me as well. Mila and Dana. But it's very flat, and these are the kind that are great for framing. And because you can see they're obviously going to fit in a frame and look beautiful hanging on the wall framed. My mother used these a lot. She was an artist as well, different than me. She did photorealistic stuff, and that's just not me. But so these are good, and you can get these. Usually they come at Hobby Lobby and Michael's and Blick. They'll come in like a set of 3 or 6 or something like that, of any size. Same size as you can get all of the other canvas. And the only time I really use these is if I know that it's something I'm wanting to go into a certain frame. But they now have these at Dollar General as well, probably Walmart. I haven't been to Walmart since 2019, so I don't know, but I would imagine that they do, because being creative and painting and all that is becoming so popular right now that they're getting it at all the stores. Even Dollar Tree. I can straighten that out right now. Even Dollar Tree has the little 4x6, I think it is, the same size that photographs come, 5x7s and small packs of those, and I buy them all the time for my grandkids to paint. So those are the kinds that are perfect for framing. This would be what I would call a regular canvas. They often call them back stapled, like if you're looking for them on blick.com or something. And if you want that link, let me know and I'll share it with you, and I get credit for it. It doesn't cost you anymore, but I do get credit for it if you use it. But sometimes, and I'll show you both differences right now. These are, the canvas is usually 1/2 to 5/8 inches deep, and they bring the canvas part around the wood part and they staple it in the back. So these can be, you paint the sides too, and these can be hung directly on the wall, and they're often narrow enough to also be able to be framed. And they come in every size. The most popular size, in my opinion, that's what they use for like painting classes and the painting with a twist type things and all that, are this depth of canvas, because these are less expensive. I buy these. This is, I think, an 8x10, and this is a 10x10, and I buy the 12x12s like this whenever I'm gonna knock out a series and do a bunch at one time, and to have them for when my grandkids come to visit. They know we can just come over to the supply basket. All these are in a basket under my little table here, and we can take out as many as we want to and not feel bad. These usually come in somewhere between 6, 7, 9, 10 or whatever, and Michael's puts them on sale for like $10 for a 2-pack or something. They end up being less than $1 a piece, so it's actually cheaper to get these in the bulk pack than it is to go to the dollar store and buy them. So that's what I would call your regular canvas. It's stretched over the wood thing, comes around, it's stapled in back, so that's gonna be important. In just a minute I'll tell you why. Most of the time may look a little bit awkward from behind, but you don't see it from behind anyways. These can still be framed. Let me hop to this one real quick and show you the difference here. See how this one has the staples on the side? These have to be framed. You can't just hang something like this on the wall with all that showing and expect it to look good. And the story behind this is this canvas was in my mama's stuff, and she passed away in 2005. One day I was particularly missing her, and I'm like, I'm gonna paint on mama's canvas. And it was old. It had been in a hot room at their house for, more than 10 years since she passed away before I got it. And I just got it out and started painting on it one day. But look, I don't know if it had not been, maybe this only had one coat of gesso on it instead of triple gessoed like they do them now. Or maybe it had just dried out, but the paint just wouldn't lay on there right. This is all feels like I'm rubbing my hand on sandpaper. It's very creepy feeling. This is the picture I was wanting to paint there and what I was outlining, but I became so frustrated with the fact that the paint was sort of balling up and gumming up on the, not gumming up exactly, but it just wasn't laying flat on there, so I just stopped on it. But I'll pick it back up one day. But you can see how this one in back has the wood here, and the canvas is not stretched all the way around, and there it has the ugly staples on it. So be careful with that. I have purchased those before by accident off of the Blick website, buying in bulk when they had them on sale, and I was so disappointed when they got here. So I always make sure to look for the words. If I'm ordering online, look for the words back stapled. That's important. This is back to the canvases that come in the pad. This is just some backgrounds and stuff that I did on some one day. So they're just, you can see it, this can be framed or however you want to do it. I paint so much around here, I don't know what to do with them. I'll actually really like that. But they can just be rolled up and used later, got back out, and, you know, worked on. So these are gessoed and all that stuff too. This is medium texture, cotton duck, natural, 12 by 12, and it is a thick gallery wrapped. You can see stapled in back and pulled around. But what I hope that you can see from that is this is like a natural canvas color. This has no gesso on it. If I was going to paint on this, I would need to put my own gesso on it. Triple gesso it is what I would prefer to do, because if you don't, your paint is going to bleed a little bit out. If you put a little circle here, it's going to bleed a little bit out. Some of it's going to soak in. It's not going to lay on the surface very well. It's just not going to be a fun experience. I bought several of these because I wanted it natural looking and was doing some mixed media stuff on it, which is fine. It's going to hold some glue, but I would gesso over any area that I was going to paint later on. So this is non-gessoed. So whenever you're buying your canvas, you want to look for pre-gessoed or triple gessoed. And just as an FYI, this is from Hobby Lobby. You can get them in all kinds of shapes. You can get circles, ovals, squares, rectangles. This is an oval. I love it, just haven't used it yet. And what you don't often see at the big box stores is black canvas. And this is just gessoed with black gesso. I mean, you can buy white gesso, clear gesso, black gesso, or you can buy the white gesso and tint it with a little bit of your acrylic paint if you want to go ahead and make this be your background. But whenever I'm doing something like trees coming out of a mist and things that are hazy and dark and all that, I really like to have the deepness of the black canvas behind that. I don't use them all the time, and the ones I have are all this size, which is 20 by 24. But any of the canvases that we have could become a black canvas just by putting the black gesso on there yourself, or the tinted gesso. The most popular size, let me say this too, because a lot of times people see the sizes, and if you've not worked with measurements and inches and all that stuff a lot, it's, you know, 12 by 12 or 12 by 24, 16 by 20, and you're like, oh, how big is that? You know, that until you've done it a lot or you've done other things that take measurements a lot, sometimes it's hard to visualize the sizes of it. But the very most popular size, I believe, is 16 by 20, and I don't think I even have one sitting here. A little bit smaller than this one. 16 by 20 is the size that you get most of the time at like painting parties and things like that. It's 16 inches. Think of a piece of paper, that's 11. There'd be a foot, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's the width, depending on how you do it, and 20. So you're looking at, you know, take 2 pieces of paper and cut off a couple of inches, however you have to visualize that. But to me, that was always the size that was suitable for hanging in your living room or hanging in, you know, hanging as a piece of art, and not having to be grouped and not having to be, you know, put with other things or whatever. As a standalone piece of art that somebody could frame and hang, in my opinion, 16 by 20 is the great size for that. These are my favorites, but they're very expensive. Michael's has a sale once or twice a year. I think it's twice a year, where they do 70% off all canvas, and that's when I buy all of these, because it's hard to sell your painting for enough money to cover, like the large ones that I have right here. Those are like $100 and something a piece. And if you're not, a famous artist, and then you're wanting to sell that for, $500 or $600 to make up for your time, effort, and supplies, a lot of people can't afford it. A lot of people can, so I have them, but I bought them at 70% off. But these are called gallery wrapped, and let me show you the difference. See how wide this is? It's usually 1.5 inches wide. Very nice wood on back, very nice tucked in corners. These are really professional artist grade, gorgeous canvases. They're what I prefer because it makes me feel fancy. I don't know how else to put it. It makes me feel like my art is worth something and worthy before I ever put anything on it, because the canvas itself was more expensive. I'm going to hold them up here together. See the difference in this versus this? The black one was 3/4 inch, and this one is 1.5 inches. So I absolutely love these. These are called gallery wrapped heavy duty canvas, level 3. And I absolutely love them. That's the way that I select my canvas, the most used ones, the most popular sizes. If you have any other questions, make sure and ask them. If you have tips and things that you can share, make sure and put them below, because those comments and things, they help a lot of other people. And I want to show you this real quick. This is my planner. I use a written planner. I would love to know what topics you would like me to speak on, or what type of projects you would like me to sample during this 30 days, because it would help me out a lot, because I have a bunch of empty days in there and haven't came up with the ideas yet. I will, even if you don't help me. I mean, that's what we're in, the idea business, right? But I would love to be providing you with the information that would help you get your creative juices flowing and your business going, if you're doing it as a business. But just give me a comment, send me a DM, whatever, and let me know what you would like to talk about next. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.